A commercial lease contract is a legal document that stipulates the terms and conditions of leasing a business premises. Unlike a residential lease between a landlord and a tenant, leasing commercial property involves a landlord and a business. Having a written contract is essential when entering into an agreement with a tenant. What's more, the two parties have to be on the same page and accept the terms. If you need help drafting a rental agreement for retail, office, or industrial space in North Carolina, here are a few tips to help you create your next commercial lease agreement. And just a disclaimer, if you need specific legal advice, consider speaking to a lawyer or a real estate manager to answer any questions you may have. A North Carolina commercial lease contract is a legally binding document that specifies the terms of the lease of an office, warehouse, industrial, or retail space and the obligations of the parties involved. It outlines the relationship between a tenant and a landlord. Unlike residential lease agreements that are generally valid for up to 2 years, commercial leases have a much longer term, which may exceed 10 years. This is why paying special attention when creating a rental contract is important. If you're wondering what you'll need to include in your lease, here are some essential elements that you should have in this document. The first is personal and property details. According to North Carolina law, commercial rental contracts must have the names and addresses of the owners of the tenant's business in the introduction. It must also contain information about the landlord and anyone who is authorized to act on his or her behalf. This includes managers and realtors. In addition, the address of the commercial property must be clearly stated, along with a detailed description of the space. The second is lease term and rent amount. It's also essential to specify the start and end date of the lease agreement. You'll need to mention the monthly rental amount the tenant will have to pay when it's due and any penalties that may apply for late payment in this section of the lease. The third is renovations. Commercial businesses could require remodeling, more signage, and growth throughout a tenancy. Because of this, a commercial lease must contain comprehensive guidelines on business and landlord obligations. The fourth is repairs and maintenance. In this section, you'll need to specify who is responsible for certain maintenance and repairs. This will also include the maintenance of parking areas. The fifth is renewals and modifications. If either party needs to make amendments to the lease, both parties must consent to these changes. You'll need to include a section to specify this in your lease. And the sixth is utilities. Determining who pays the utilities is much simpler if you lease a single-tenant facility. However, when you have a multi-tenant property, it's important to specify what portion of the utilities the tenant will have to pay for. Once you've added these sections, you must have a space for both parties to print their names, sign, and date the document to express their consent to its terms. Now, let's talk about disclosures. According to state and federal law, landlords in North Carolina are required to disclose the following information in their commercial lease agreements. This includes a security deposit. According to North Carolina law, landlords are required to provide tenants with certain information, including the address and name of the bank where the security deposit is held in the written agreement. There is also a lead-based paint disclosure. Federal law requires all landlords with properties built before 1978 to include this disclosure to inform tenants of the potential hazards of exposure to this substance. Finally, there's lease default. The parties to a commercial lease are in default if the enterprise is not open during regular business hours, engages in illegal activity on the property, maintains the space poorly, disposes of waste incorrectly, or declares bankruptcy. Now, as another disclaimer, I work for DoorLoop, and this video was produced by DoorLoop. If you want to create your own commercial rental contract, we have a template you can check out yourself. We'll leave a link for you in the description below. Or, if you wish, you can choose our Smart Lease Agreement Generator if you prefer the freedom to create detailed, personalized lease agreements. You can make comprehensive contracts with this tool in no time. The DoorLoop platform also allows you to advertise properties, receive monthly rent, and manage your rental business. Book a free demo today to experience DoorLoop for yourself. And finally, if you're creating a commercial rental agreement for the first time, we understand that you may find the process daunting, which is why we have developed a smart tool to help you create the perfect commercial lease agreements quickly and easily. Book a demo today to experience DoorLoop for yourself. And if you're looking for residential rental agreements, check out the link in the description below. Before we wrap this up, here are some frequently asked questions. Question number 1, do business leases need to be notarized in North Carolina? The answer is no. Leases don't have to be notarized to be legally binding in North Carolina. However, many prefer this. Question number 2, what are landlords not allowed to do? The answer, except when conducting routine maintenance, renovations, and repairs, landlords are not permitted to remove doors, shut off utilities, or disrupt normal business operations. And question number 3, what are the different types of North Carolina commercial lease agreements? The answer, there are various possible lease options, and before making your choice, you will need to consider the pros and cons of each one. Companies can sign a gross lease if their only goal is to pay the monthly rent. The landlord will use the rental amount to cover all additional expenses, such as insurance, property taxes, and maintenance. A triple net lease is the best option if a tenant wants to have more control over the property and will be responsible for paying insurance costs and property tax. On the other hand, newly established companies may prefer a modified gross lease, which pays the landlord a portion of the company's income to cover these expenses. Well, that's it for this video. If you want more real estate content for your business, make sure you check out our YouTube channel for more DoorLoop videos, such as the most important house rules for renters and what is appraised value, everything you need to know. Remember to like this video, share it, and of course, subscribe to our channel.